So for this project, I'm going to try to explain the whole royal family of the Chu dynasty, how each character is related to each other, and how that affects the storyline. Full spoilers for both the male and female storyline. So we see that there is a lot of characters, a lot of prince and princesses and concubine. So I'm trying to put this in a tree and try to make this more relationship more clear, so that people know who these characters are, because it kind of get hard to keep track of all the characters as the story progresses. So the female storyline's main love interest is the Emperor Mu Ling Chen. He has a lot of wives, as the emperors do, and these are all the wives that he have, including the main character here. The main character picture here was taken from the male storyline. If you play the male storyline, the main female character is the male character's cousin. We see that he has a mother, Empress Dowager, and she appears in the male storyline. And we know that Emperor has at least one full-blooded brother. So brother Lord Bao is the Emperor's full-blooded brother. And the Empress actually likes Lord Bao more than the Emperor. That is, and the Emperor thought that Lord Bao was trying to usurp him and try to become a king himself. So Lord Bao was put under house arrest, and that is how he remains since the beginning of the story. He also have a lot of other brothers and sisters that is not full-blooded to him, so is not related to the Empress Dowager Wu. And for example, we see that the male storylines, main love interest, Mu Ling Si, we know for sure that she is not a full-blooded sister of the emperor. We are told that she is a half sister. So she is the main female love interest in the male storyline. We also know that there is a Mu Ling Shui, and she is currently married to the imperial physician Zhu, and there is a love triangle going on between Ling Ruo, the female main character, and her previous fiance, the emperor physician, and the princess, who is completely head over heel in love with the imperial physician. Later, we realize that she gave up her position as a princess and runs off with the imperial physician and get married. The emperor also have other brothers. So we are very familiar with Lord Yi. He comes up a lot. He is always beside the emperor giving advice. He's kind of like a good guy. He's also a red hero. And then there is the bad guy. There is Lord Yan, the eighth son, and he is trying to instigate this plot to overthrow the emperor. We know for sure that her mother is apparently a woman of low rank, and but he seems to be pretty skilled, because his other brother, Lord Gu, is supporting Lord Yan to take over the throne and become the next emperor. We also know that Lord Lian is currently married to Lam Mier. We have never seen Lam Mier, but we know that Lam Mier was the king's love interest for the last 10 years. And she seems to be the only one the king has ever really loved. Maybe aside from the female main character. And she is mentioned as being a lookalike of Luluo, who we see later in the story as a concubine. And Lamiere, she apparently knows that the emperor is in love with her, but she chooses to marry Lord Lian instead. Lord Lian knows that Leloa looks like Lamiere and that the emperor is in love with Lamiere, so he uses Leloa to enter the harem and spy for her and make her do his bidding. So The rest of the emperor's harem is as follows. There is the empress, and two of them have a son. The first prince, Prince Mubien, who dies quite earlier in the story. He is killed by Liu, and therefore Empress Xiao kills Liu later in the as the story progress. Empress Xiao also has a brother, Ying Yi, who is the leader of the Secret Service that the male plot storyline is evolved around it. And he is sent to kill the main character later on in the story because he is a brother of the Empress. And the Empress does not like the main character because there's way too many women in this harem. The other character of note is Nian Xian, and she seems to be the second most favorite or second most highest ranked of all the women in the harem because she is a sister to the General Nian, who is seems to have a lot of influence and a lot of military power backing her. So she's kind of like a wealthy concubine. We also know there is Li Ru. She looks really, really, really nice, and her name is like the consort piece, but she's actually quite nasty. She tried to fake having a baby by bringing somebody else's baby from outside the palace and trying to pass that off as her own son. That get found out, and she also kills the Prince Bien as previously mentioned. So she gets secretly killed off by the Empress, and it seems everybody seems to know that she got secretly killed off by the Empress. There are also Tong Leluo, which we have mentioned before as one of the primary characters in the game, and she's a spy for the prince. That is trying to overthrow the emperor. Her love interest is Fu Congzhi, and we know Fu Congzhi as our orange hero, and he gets kidnapped by the prince and is used as a hostage so that Lelua will listen to him and do the spy work. We also know later in the story that Leluo or the prince tried to kill Fu Kongzi and that he ran away. And from the biography, it is told that he he fell in love with a person that was chased after him to try to kill him, who is the eunuch Sixi's sister. So he is living happily ever after with the eunuch's sister at current point in time as far as biography is concerned. Leluo also have a son, Beizi, but he is actually not the son of the emperor. She kind of kidnapped and raped a man and have a baby, and she tried to pass this baby off as the emperor's son so that she can go back into the emperor's good graces. When Beizi get killed by his own mother, who is a full-blooded mother, when she is afraid that her infidelity and this whole kidnap the man and having sex with the man thing was discovered, she's afraid that that's going to be found out during the blood test, so she kills her own son. Emperor's other concubine that we are not very well aware of is Junior Lady Song, which we barely see. Consort Chang, and she seems to have a little bit more of a voice, but I think she does not really have an empress paper, but she comes from a well-known established family, and that is the reason why. There is Shi Qixi, which we see at the very beginning of the story and at the very end of the story. She is actually the female main character's kind of like a sister. She knows they know each other, they're from the same village. But she is actually quite nasty, and she is working for the consort Nian and try to instigate a plot against the main character. There's also Wen Yuan, which I think she might be not a junior lady, I'm not completely sure, and she is in main character's side. She's also the friend of the main character, and they do quite well. As the story progresses at the very end, she take care of the princess. The emperor have at least one living son, and that is a son between the emperor and consort Yi. She is actually quite dead at the moment. But they have a legitimate son. She thinks that her son is not hers, and she thought she'd give birth to a girl, but it was actually the son that the consort Peace has stolen. It's actually her own son, and later the whole thing gets sorted out, but she gets killed anyway, and the prince is currently being raised by the empress. There's also Yun Yue, we barely hear anything about, but she seems to be appearing in the background a lot. She talks a lot. And there is the main female character, Ling Ruo, who is also kind of the consort of the king. She was originally betrothed to the emperor physician, but because of her family and her duty, she had kind of had to cut that off and enter the emperor harem. She has a princess. The main character get pregnant later in the story and has a princess with the emperor. And she also has a sister, Ling Yelan, which we also see later in the story. So that is the gist of a lot of characters that we see in the Royal Chaos storyline. There is a lot of characters, so I thought it'll be fun to make this diagram to see how everybody is related to each other. So thank you to listening to my explanation. Thank you.